The buildings you see here, they're temporary housing for people who basically were forced out of their homes for one reason or another through the earthquake and tsunami and the nuclear accident and all that stuff. Each neighborhood that has these temporary housing, generally the temporary housing are built the same way. So as you can see right here, I mean, this is the entrance to one unit, where this is the back of another unit, but the back of this unit, the back of this first unit is the same as the back of this unit. Now, depending on the neighborhood that you're in, they have different size temporary housing for the size of families that are in there. This particular neighborhood has families including, well, I mean larger families including children. Other locations have temporary housing only for single or possibly two people, because it's just a much smaller house. This kind of looks tacked on afterwards, which is in fact what it is. When they first built these houses, you had the entrance, and it did its job. But when winter came around, it got a little cold. It's nice to have the airlock here between the front door and the elements.
How quickly were these buildings put up after?
As far as most people were concerned, the temporary housing did not go up as fast as they wanted, obviously, because you suddenly need temporary housing for thousands of people all at once. And however, most of the temporary housing units that they have were built within a year of the earthquake. And now what's happening is people who are able to move on with their lives, people who are able to start rebuilding, are starting to actually build houses outside of these properties. And so they're slowly getting on, but there are other people who still have no idea what's going to happen, where they're going to be living eventually. A lot of people who still don't have work. And then a lot of elderly people who really, I mean, as far as they're concerned, what's the point of in trying to reestablish themselves right now? They'd rather go back to where they used to live, which for all intents and purposes may be impossible. And so a lot of those people are still in the temporary housing. And it's Christmas time. Santa Clausがおる。
こんにちは。
Each of these neighborhoods have one structure, which is a central structure for people to meet at. Kind of a meeting space. This is where they would gather in order to discuss policy, or if a politician comes, in order to explain how things are going to be from here on in. This is where they do it. And then throughout the year, with different events, they might have parties and such here as well. They're actually separate units, just a common roof. But there's a space between the units.
Does that make them more portable or something?
The space.
I don't know whether they actually build these here or if they build them elsewhere and bring them, so I'm not sure about that. But from the perspective of living in one of these, rather than having a common wall with the next door, having that space in between makes you feel you have that much more privacy. So, I mean, if I were to live in these, I'd rather be in one of these rooms than one of the rooms that has the common wall with the next door. 昨日の公演のやつは青年会議所が寄付したやつで、こっちは青年会議所じゃなくて、これどっかに多分ね ああ、それと競輪会議所がやったやつはこれがついてない。Playground of Hope。
うん。
あ、内側どっかにやったかな。
あ、ヤギ。ヤギ。
元気かお前ら。ヤギのご飯。ああ、こういうことやっちゃったんだ。ガチャガチャで。
ああ、
この中にヤギのご飯が入ってんだわ。
なるほどね。ヤギのご飯。ヤギのご飯のガチャガチャとか面白いね。
で、
Well, I'm waiting for you.
コイン持ってきてない。
No.
ごめんね。